Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Life Lessons card of the Mirror. And when I was thinking about this today, the thought that always comes to mind with the mirror is taking a look at your situation from a different perspective. Okay. Yesterday we talked, about the Page of Stones, and I was talking more about Roth IRAs and 401ks, but stones in materialism and security and stability are great to have. We always want more money. We always want more things in the house and things of that nature. But to take a different perspective of that, look at what you do have. You do have a house. You do have a car. You do have a job, right? And for those that don't have any of those three, you had something in that form, before. As a kid, you had a house to grow up in, maybe. I don't know. Every situation is different. But if the thing I like about this card is it allows you to take a step back and look at what you did have, okay, or what you do have currently, okay. She's holding this crystal ball up in her left hand. And, when I think of crystal balls, I don't think about, psychic readers or anything like that. For me, the crystal ball is just a tool that, mediums and readers use, okay? But here she's holding that up, and then she's got a golden mirror in her right hand, okay? So, here's maybe she's trying to divine into the future, which nobody knows. The universe knows, spirit may know, okay? But you don't know what your future holds because you're living in the present, right? Now, if you take an out-of-body experience or maybe, look into a future life situation or something like that, that's not going to help you out tomorrow. That may help you out years down the road, but not in a short term, okay? And when you look into the mirror, that gives you a different perspective of who you are. You look in the mirror and you see the wrinkles along your forehead. You see the bags under your eyes, right? You see the crooks in the smile. But at the same time, you see who you are. You can look into your eyes and see your spiritual journey up to this point, okay? Now, knowing that, you can say to yourself, you know what? I've done pretty good on my spiritual journey. Ever since I've crossed in the Wildwood Forest, I've been on a creative journey. I've been on an emotional journey. And I've had some obstacles and I've had some challenges. But at the same time, I've gotten through everything. The universe is protecting me. And, the other thing that I like to point out is the heron. The heron is the king of vessels, okay? And, he's the king of, the emotions, the psychic ability, the emotions of water, anything that has to do with, even the moon, right, is under his realm. Okay, dreams and sleep visions and things of that nature. So, for him to show up in this reflective journey that you're looking at, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your intuition, okay, with what's going on. As you look into the mirror, maybe you see a glimpse, of a deja vu moment, which could be a glimpse into the future, right? Maybe you see, an idea spark, which you still have this ace of bows down here, the spark of life, to make you go further, right? So, there's a lot within this card. The other thing that I point out a lot is that boat with the body. All right, here's something that's passed away, and maybe this was a close thing of the heron, and or not the heron, the serpentine figure, in the card. She needs to let that person go. She needs to let that idea go. She needs to let that thought go. And as a process of doing so, she gathers a different perspective. And a good analogy that I can use on that is a relationship. A relationship ends, and most people will tend to hold on to that relationship. All right? You don't talk to that person, you don't see that person, you try not to think about that person, but yet there's something in there that just holds on to that. I wonder how she's doing. Wonder how they're doing. What is he up to? But still no contact. Somewhere down the line, you take that deeper perspective and you take a step out of it and you look and you say, why? Why am I using energy on this when it's no longer there? I need to let it go. I need to take that step out and say, you know what? I'm done. There is a little tether right up here. I'm thinking it might be an anchor, waiting for the other world to pick that body up and take it to the other side. But if that anchor is not there, that boat can go away, go with the wind, right? So, with that being said, we always tend to anchor those memories, right? Once you cut that cord, let that anchor go and let go of that past, because you can't change it. Once you let it go, then you can move on. You can see things from a different perspective. And that's what this card is really all about. And, with the life lessons cards that, are still down here, the green man and the green woman, it's all about patience, right? It's all about what knowledge and wisdom did you learn from the past? And how do you apply that to your future? How do you apply that to your path as you're moving forward? Excuse me. There's also prudence and trust in the process, right? Of trying to get to that next layer of your evolution in your spiritual journey. Part of that process is surrendering. Surrendering your will, looking deep within, and asking Spirit to guide you. And just, hey, universe, I want to be an open conduit to you. Help me through this situation. Guide me on my path as I move forward. And just trust that the universe heard that message and allows you to move forward. All right? And when you do that, it opens you up, right? Just that little bit right there opened me up. Allowing Spirit to come in has taught valuable lessons and insights along the way. Maybe you get the download tonight when you're dreaming, right? Maybe you've seen a vision of something that, hey, this is where I want to be. Don't force that issue, right? Let it come naturally. Don't bang your head up against the wall and say, I want this to happen, I want this to happen. That goes back to this, that 5 of arrows frustration. That takes us down that level of energy and doesn't allow us to move forward, all right? We want to be in that high octave of energy so we can keep our spiritual path growing, all right? And let it naturally come from the soul and let that Spirit, discern what, you need to hear, you need to see, you need to feel, you need to touch. Someone is going to come into your life. That is true, okay? You are going to get a message around stability, security, and materialism. Maybe it happened today, maybe it'll happen in the next week. But pay attention to that, because that's Spirit and universe putting somebody in your path to just give you a little nugget. And then you could take that nugget and look at it from a different perspective and say, you know what? This is how I want to grow things. This is how, what I want to do to this room in my house to make it, more likable for when I want to sell the house. Things of that nature. So, with this card, there's also some healing, because the healing is there with the Heron. And just let that journey begin. Awaken to a new awareness that's going on. And, be ready to deal with what the world has and the challenges. Okay. The Queen of Bows is off the table now. So, you still got the respect of the Wildwood Forest. You still got the life lessons of the nurturing from the male and feminine side, right, of the Major Arcana. And the Page of, the Page of Bows, the Lynx is down here, and he's asking, what can you learn? What can you learn from this situation? I'd like to know. You leave a comment, and let me know how your journey's going. So this is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others. This is the mirror out of the Wildwood Tarot deck. And, like I said, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.